What's up, everybody? I have a quick but fun discussion here today, at least in my opinion. I'm pre-recording this because I'm going to be out hiking all week, but I still wanted to have kind of a lighthearted discussion while I was away, and I will be responding to comments while I'm out there, so definitely don't feel shy if you have an opinion on this. But today I wanted to talk about different editions of books, and do specific editions matter? Now, this was never that big of a deal to me in the past. I had always been drawn to certain covers, obviously. You know, you go to the Scholastic Book Fair when you are younger, and that's the main draw, is a lot of these big, colorful covers. But it wasn't anything that I explored too deeply, and something very specific got me to think about editions of books a little bit more. I was just getting into Thomas Pynchon, and I was looking at Gravity's Rainbow and started to look at what edition I wanted to get and found a huge red flag. There was a discussion board online that started discussing the Penguin Deluxe Edition. One of the early printings apparently had some errors in the text. I think it was something that there had been edits from the author that didn't quite make it through to that end product. I think there were still things that were left in that weren't supposed to be in there, and other parts that were left out, and it got me really nervous about buying specific editions of books. So I went to explore a little bit more, didn't get any of the mainstream covers, and went out and found this really cool Gravity's Rainbow just from a seller in a different state from mine. I think it's pretty fun. And then I started to explore the issue a little bit deeper, and it's not always the case that there are errors in the text, but there are other factors that had me thinking about what specific edition I wanted to buy of a book. The next example came when I started to get into William Gaddis, specifically with the recognitions, and I was looking for different editions online, and obviously you could find some of the older copies on eBay, and I almost did that, but then I discovered a specific publisher, Dulky Archive, where they look at authors that they believe to be a significant part of literary culture. Maybe they were influential to other writers, but maybe didn't have a lot of popular appeal or didn't gain that momentum during their career. So they picked specific works and made it their goal to make sure that they were always in print. And JR made that cut, so did the recognitions. And for all of these authors and all of the books that they chose, they made sure to keep them in print even if they weren't making a profit on it, which I thought was totally admirable. And that's why I picked up the Dulky Archive Press editions of both the recognitions and JR. And so I think that that's another huge factor to think about what editions you're buying. If you're going to buy books new, it might be worth looking into who is pressing them and have some more conscious consumerism when you're getting your books. And I'll be honest, sometimes it's just the cover. White Noise by Don DeLillo, I mentioned that in my review of this book. I thought that this cover was outstanding, and a lot of that had to do with the fact that a lot of the other covers that I found were pretty terrible, at least in my opinion, but I thought that the themes of the book were encapsulated perfectly on the covers and in the little flaps on the inside, and I thought that that was a great part. But then it also brought in another factor to buying specific editions. There are introductions by specific authors to specific editions, and I started to realize that a lot of my favorite classics not only had better covers, but also had introductions by authors that I also really respected. So I think that's worth looking into too. A lot of us don't just keep every book that we read. Some of us get them from the libraries, or we sell off books that we've had for a long time that we don't read as much. And if you're going to pick a book that you know you're going to keep, that you know it's going to be a significant part of your life, that you're going to reread it, it's worth it to look at those editions that have a great introduction by an author that you respect, and it might be the definitive edition for you. And so because of all those factors that I've started to think about over time, I can definitively say that specific editions do matter, whether it be for accuracy, whether it be for the aesthetics of it, whether it be for supporting a particular author or a particular publishing company. I think for those reasons, it really does matter to get a specific edition of a book. But I know a lot of people don't feel that way. There are certain booktubers that I've seen don't really like to keep books. They do have quite a collection, but it's just because they're constantly reading so much and they're getting a lot sent to them. And so keeping books isn't a big deal for them. And I get that. I think if that's the case, you would only want it for the text itself. You don't need to have specific editions because you really just want to get the experience from that specific text. All the same, I do want to get more opinions on the matter and also ask for any suggestions of specific editions that you think are worth it. Do specific editions matter? Why or why not? If they do you have any specific suggestions that you would want to throw my way? Leave them in the comments below. I'd love to geek out about specific editions with you all, or duke it out if you don't think that they're as important. But all the same, thanks for participating in the discussion. I will be back in town next week, and we'll hopefully have a fresh video for you, so I'm looking forward to that. But have a great week until then, and I will catch you next time.